I believe Marvel Studios is going to use a Thanos variant to replace Kang.
Cap.
No, that's not cap. Because you see, there's actual evidence to suggest this is happening, including brand new comments made by Josh Brolin about Thanos returning, reports about Marvel's actual plan after they fired Jonathan Majors, and the fact that this would actually make sense from the character and story perspective. I'm 100% convinced that this is what Marvel is doing, and I think you will be too if you watch the whole video. But of course, you're going to have to be the judge for yourself. I think the best place to start with this theory is laying the groundwork for you about why I believe Marvel Studios is going to replace Kang. I know there's a lot of confusion about what is actually going on with Kang in Avengers 5 and Avengers 6, but I'm going to show you two reports from very reliable people that came out in the last several months, and both of these reports acknowledge that Kang, even if he is recast, is coming way down the line, and that something else, or perhaps someone else, will represent a big multiversal threat instead. Let's first discuss a report from the Cosmic Circus that came out in the weeks following Jonathan Majors officially being fired by Marvel Studios. Alex Perez says this: Marvel's plan for him is the equivalent of sweeping it under the rug. Marvel will instead focus on other storylines while they take their time to build up Kang and the multiverse again slowly behind the scenes. Some sources have even gone beyond that to state that Marvel doesn't intend to address him directly until we are particularly near the end of the Multiverse Saga. Sources state that there have been discussions and plans for other multiversal villains to step up to the plate in the upcoming phases. This is, of course, in an attempt to take control of the multiversal-sized vacuum left in the absence of Kang the Conqueror and his variants. But make no mistake, for better or worse, Marvel ultimately still intends to close out the Multiverse Saga with a Kang variant as their final villain. And I next want to show you a tweet made by Justin Kroll, who works for Deadline and is one of the best reporters in the game. Justin said this in early January of this year. He said, "See a lot of who will play Kang next, and here is the top contender for Kang comments this week. And all I'll say is this: don't expect that news anytime soon. There will be plenty of Marvel breaks in the coming weeks on various fronts, but don't hold your breath on that one." And so Justin and Alex are both reporting the same thing, that they are sweeping it under the rug, and that even if they recast Kang, which they're both kind of saying they will, that recasted actor will not be seen for years. And although this next part is speculation, we think what they're referring to is Beyonder. TLDR on that is that the Beyonder is going to be a variant of Kang, likely the variant we see sucked into the quantum engine at the end of Quantumania. And essentially, despite other multiversal villains stepping up to the plate, the saga will still end with a Beyonder as a Kang variant becoming the big bad, being the main threat in Secret Wars. And so other villains stepping up to the plate to fill the multiversal void. And Kang, as a variant, still being the villain, but not coming in until way later in the saga, likely right as we get into Secret Wars. So that's the basics. That's why people believe other villains are going to be replacing Kang, at least until Kang returns as the Beyonder. And if you're bringing Marvel villains or variants of Marvel villains from throughout the multiverse, then I just think it makes total and complete sense to bring King Thanos from the multiverse into the Multiversal Saga. Now, there are a couple of reasons why I think that is a direction Marvel Studios is going to go in. Number one, we just got comments from Josh Brolin talking about how he has heard through the grapevine that Thanos is coming back.
You know, I hear kind of like through the grapevine that they're going to bring him back, and there's the What If series, and that's a different kind of Thanos and all that, but I don't know in the Marvel world whether they're going to bring him back.
So that's really interesting, right? Brolin hearing that Thanos is coming back on the heels of rumors that Marvel might be taking villains from throughout the multiverse to replace Kang. Coincidence? I think not. But another piece of evidence to suggest that it will be King Thanos is the fact that Marvel Studios already has designs for King Thanos. And in fact, they were working on a big Disney park ride where you, along with a bunch of Avengers from throughout the multiverse, would be fighting against this variant of King Thanos. And this was like actually out there. Like, you can find the reports of this. I'm putting up images of it right now. Apparently this ride has been delayed, but the main point, the main thing you have to keep in mind is that Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios was already designing some piece of content with King Thanos, where he would be the Thanos that won and presented himself as a threat to the entire multiverse. And so they already have that idea developed in some way. And I'll tell you, as just a quick TLDR for the Thanos wins story and this King Thanos character, he is a variant of Thanos that wins, defeats all the Avengers, defeats all the people that could stand against him in the multiverse. He's frankly an absolute badass, a version of the Thanos you know, but dialed up to 11. But another reason why I really feel this is something Marvel will do is because it makes sense for the character. I mean, if you consider what we know about Thanos the Mad Titan and his desire to bring balance to the universe, and you extend that to a variant of Thanos that would find out about the multiverse and perhaps even discover that the entire multiverse is being destroyed, well, I personally think that would be something that a Thanos variant, maybe every single Thanos variant, would take great offense to. At the end of the day, Thanos's entire philosophy is based on the fact that there's not enough to go around and that the universe itself is unbalanced. When he snapped out half the life in the universe, he did it for a good reason. He was actually trying to save the universe. He thought if the imbalance continued on the trajectory that it was going on, the entire universe would be destroyed. And I think that character, understanding that the multiverse is being destroyed, would likely feel that this was done because he didn't accomplish his goal in enough universes within the multiverse. As an interesting thought experiment, consider what it would be like if the events of the Loki show happened with the character of Thanos instead. Like, imagine Thanos sitting there with Mobius, looking over his own life, understanding his own purpose, especially if he understood that he wasn't really inevitable and that the Avengers actually changed all of it back to the way it was before he snapped. I mean, I think that would be particularly annoying to him, but I also think he would find it crazy that there's a place within the multiverse where Infinity Stones are basically paperweights. He had this epic journey of trying to get all of the stones, and he ended up doing it. And this is crazy, glorious moment for him. And to have that completely recontextualized by the fact that there are infinite multiverses and there are powers within the multiverse far above that of the stones themselves, I just really think that would be an eye-opening experience for Thanos. And I don't really know how much it would change his personal motivations. It would just change the scope of his goal. And this is also a person that is incredibly powerful, incredibly intelligent, and incredibly resourceful. And all it would take would be one variant from throughout the multiverse to begin to coalesce their power to find a way to travel into other universes. And then all of a sudden, you have Thanos going out there, likely wiping out realities, enslaving entire universes, building up his power to the point where he felt like he could exercise his will on the entirety of the multiverse. And I think even if a character like the Beyonder was introduced, Thanos would be looking to usurp that power, to destroy the Beyonder, and to assert himself as the dominant force within the multiverse. And on top of that, it would also be really cool for fans. I mean, Marvel Studios turned Thanos into this generation's Darth Vader. Like, a lot of us comic book readers, we've known who Thanos is. We knew Thanos was freaking awesome, but now you get Thanos memes all the time on social media. Thanos is one of the most recognizable villains in the history of pop culture. And that was done because of the Infinity Saga, because of Infinity War, and because of Endgame. So I think for audiences, seeing a variant of Thanos that's dialed up to 11 could potentially be way cooler than seeing all of the variants of Kang. We have a connection to Thanos. We understand how badass he is. We've seen him do incredible things. And again, Thanos on a multiversal scale is a pretty frightening idea. And so you have the evidence that Marvel Studios is bringing back old villains to try to fill the void of Kang. You have the evidence of Josh Brolin talking about how he has heard Thanos is coming back. You have the fact that Marvel Studios was already developing content with King Thanos in mind, and he was going to be a multiversal threat. And you have the fact that it makes sense from a character perspective for Thanos, or at least one Thanos out there in the multiverse, to become that level of a threat. And you also have the fact that the audience is familiar with the guy, we understand his motivations, and it would be super frightening to see what a multiversal variant of the Mad Titan could actually be capable of. Of course, it's just a theory, but let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. And as I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.